The hospital in Lumberton remains at capacity this week because of increase in COVID patients.
And on campus, officials continue to urge vaccinations by offering prizes.
Businesses in the state continue to add jobs.
Those stories and more coming up on Carolina News Today. I'm Mahala Trace.
And I'm Jayla Coley. We're back for another semester and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Starting this week, visitors to the hospital in Lumberton must show proof of vaccination to see patients. The hospital is so full from the burden of COVID-19 patients, they aren't performing any elective surgeries. People with minor injuries or illness are asked to visit an urgent care facility rather than rely on the emergency room. Officials at UNC Health Southeastern say they had to rent a mobile morgue unit.
We ran out of space in our building, and then we upfitted an old morgue that we had before some renovations happened many years ago, and had that one converted back to a usable morgue, and that one is at capacity as well. So we had no alternatives but to bring in a mobile, and we've had to use it a couple of times during these last few weeks. We've surpassed January, which was January 2021, which was the highest numbers we saw. We have far surpassed that already in September, but we are seeing a decline now. Unfortunately, some of that is due to death. This Delta variant seems to be very vigorous, and the day 8 is the day that we're seeing people decline versus the original variant. It was much later in it, and we were able to keep patients more stable, but this one is very vigorous.
After only 16 days, September became the deadliest month for Robeson County during the pandemic. There have been at least 44 deaths from COVID reported in the county in September already, which is higher than the record set for the entire month of January. Indeed, the past 2 months account for more than 21% of the county's total COVID deaths. August, of course, was back to school for children and college students, some without mask mandates.
On campus, masks are still mandatory indoors according to an announcement from Chancellor Cummings made on Friday. Students without proof of vaccination on file are subject to periodic testing, but students who do have proof of vaccination are eligible for prizes.
UNC Pembroke decided to use some of our federal monies that we receive as part of COVID relief to help incentivize students who are getting their vaccines. And so that's a multi-prong plan, and part of it is if you provide your vaccine card, if you've already received the vaccine, then you automatically are eligible to receive a $100 Visa gift card. If you are not yet vaccinated but get your first shot of the 2 vaccines that require a first and second dose, then you get $50 at that point. We've given away computers, we've given away $500 gift cards, just as an additional incentive for those who are getting vaccinated and tested on campus. And our hope is that it will incentivize those who are not yet vaccinated to educate themselves and to research and make an informed decision about what's best for them as it relates to vaccines. And we think it has had an impact on increasing the number of students who are getting vaccinated. We certainly had a jump in the number of students getting vaccines in the weeks following that announcement, taking advantage of the free vaccines available on campus on a daily basis, and even on the weekends.
UNCP students have mixed feelings about being back on campus still under pandemic conditions. Most are okay with the precautions.
It's cool. As long as I still have the mask on, I'll be okay.
Being back on campus is great. We still have stuff to do around campus, so it's a good experience.
A little uncomfortable, but in all honesty, I do feel so much better to be on campus because I'm able to hang out with some people I haven't been able to over the summer as much, and try to catch up for lost time from last spring.
I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad to see everyone again, and I feel like when I'm here, I'm more on task and focused on what I need to do. Plus, we're all wearing masks, so we're keeping safe.
I think it's great. I play football here, and it's great having all the students on campus. I think our school takes the necessary precautions to have us here, and it's great being here.
I like being on campus and being back in classes, in-person classes, and seeing faces, getting to meet new people.
As millions of North Carolinians get vaccinated to protect themselves and others against COVID-19, other people are buying and selling fake vaccination records. These fake cards are illegal, and buying or selling a falsified government seal is a federal crime. The North Carolina Attorney General's office is working to shut down sellers of fake vaccine cards. When people fake their vaccination status, they might also be violating policies at their school or workplace, which can result in disciplinary actions. If you're concerned about people selling fake vaccine cards online, you can report them to the State Attorney General by calling 877-5-NO-SCAM.
A man accused of murdering a University of North Carolina college student made his first appearance in court Friday. Miguel Enrique Salguero Olivares was arrested and charged with first-degree murder on Thursday. The charge was in connection to the killing of 19-year-old Faith Hedgepeth. She was found dead in her off-campus apartment in 2012. The North Carolina Attorney General says the state crime lab matched Salguero Olivares' DNA to DNA found at the crime scene. The 28-year-old suspect is being held without bond.
A man who was long suspected in the 2012 murder of Hedgepeth is finally breathing a sigh of relief. With the arrest of a suspect Thursday, Eric Jones now believes he is no longer under suspicion by police. Although he did know the victim, Jones said he never had any connection to the crime. WRAL's Joe Fisher has his story.
I feel like I can breathe again.
Eric Jones says he's lived the last 9 years under a cloud of suspicion for a murder he did not commit.
I felt betrayed from the beginning because, I felt like people that I've spent a lot of my time around kind of just turned it back on me.
Police interrogated Jones shortly after the murder of Faith Hedgepeth. The UNC student was beaten to death with a liquor bottle at her off-campus apartment.
I was prime suspect number one.
Jones dated Hedgepeth's roommate, a relationship that ended just months before the murder. Jones says police raided his apartment, seized his property, and took DNA evidence, including fingernail and saliva samples that never matched DNA found at the crime scene.
They never clarified what their position was on him, though I would say that continued statements that have come out throughout this investigation have made it clear that they continue to believe he was a person of interest or a suspect.
Now, this time the state requests no bond in this matter.
Today, a judge denied bond for Miguel Salguero Olivares, who was charged Thursday in Hedgepeth's death.
Never seen him, never heard him.
Investigators say the suspect's DNA does match DNA found at Hedgepeth's apartment.
This investigation is not complete. Our work is not done.
Police say more arrests could come, but Jones maintains his innocence.
Are you confident that you will not be charged?
100%. 100%. I'm not going to say I knew this day was going to come. I prayed for it.
The Robeson County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting Friday night that left a 34-year-old Pembroke man dead and 2 others hospitalized. According to the Robesonian newspaper, deputies responded to the 10:30 p.m. shooting on Deep Branch Road. 3 gunshot victims were taken to the hospital in Lumberton, where Stephen Douglas of Pembroke was pronounced dead. The Homicide Division asked that anyone with any information on the incident contact the Sheriff's Office at 910-671-3100.
An electrical equipment manufacturer has announced they will expand current operations in Robeson County and create 20 more jobs. Hager Incorporated says the $3.2 million expansion will support new lines in both grounding and lightning protection. The new jobs will yield an average salary of about $39,000. The One North Carolina Fund that provides financial assistance to local governments will give Hager a $75,000 grant after performance and job creation are met.
Filmmakers producing projects in North Carolina are expected to create more than 25,000 job opportunities in the state by the end of the year. Those filmmakers are also set to invest a record amount of money in the state, about $409 million. That's the largest tally seen since the creation of the North Carolina Film and Entertainment Grant 7 years ago. Many productions have been drawn to the state's highly skilled workforce, the infrastructure, and a variety of filming locations. Among the many productions this year are the upcoming Netflix series Florida Man, which shoots in Wilmington, and the reality show My Big Fat Fabulous Life in Greensboro. Productions are eligible for a 25% rebate on spending in the state under conditions of the entertainment grant.
A judge in North Carolina blocks a new voter ID law.
And an elderly veteran becomes a sensation for all the right reasons.
Those stories after these messages.
Homecoming is just around the corner, and it's been too long since we've all come together. This year's homecoming is the perfect time to reunite, get back to our traditions, and really celebrate what it means to be a brave nation.
Join us for Homecoming 2021.
I know students here at UNC Pembroke and the community of Pembroke is very excited to bring our Brave Nation homecoming back. As freshmen and sophomore students who didn't get to have that experience last year, they're definitely excited to see what a real college homecoming would be like. It's going to be like a nice cool dance where people can dress up, step shows from sorority and fraternity life, and definitely the bonfire, which is like a tradition here at UNC Pembroke. So I know a lot of students are excited about that.
A court panel in North Carolina blocked the state's voter identification law Friday, ruling that it discriminates against Black voters. The North Carolina State Court panel agreed with the ruling by the state's Court of Appeals, permanently blocking the photo ID requirement. A 3-judge panel said the law represented, quote, an unconstitutional intent and target African American voters, unquote. The ruling comes as voting rights are under attack in a number of states across the country. Members of the Republican-led North Carolina state legislature say the intent of the bill was election security, not discrimination. Supporters of the measure requiring a valid photo ID say they will appeal.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services has announced 4 new locations offering monoclonal antibodies for COVID-19 treatment, and one of those is in Robeson County. The locations are managed by local organizations in partnership with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The additional locations bring the number of sites offering this therapy in North Carolina to more than 200. FEMA will also assist staff at one of the locations. This partnership will give more North Carolinians access to monoclonal antibody treatment. It can decrease the likelihood of hospitalization related to COVID-19 if taken early.
A North Carolina couple just had a one-of-a-kind wedding. They exchanged vows at the Frying Pan Tower, an old lighthouse more than 30 miles off the coast. Reporter Sydney Boucher checked in one of the happy couple after their nautical nuptials.
And now on behalf of the Frying Pan Tower, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin Black.
They do, and they did it 30 miles offshore and 85 feet above the ocean.
It was everything that I've ever wanted, ever dreamed of. It was perfect.
Audrey and Ben Black tied the knot on Saturday in the first wedding ever at Frying Pan Tower.
It wasn't necessarily a race to get out there to be the first by any stretch. It just so happened that it worked out that way. So to be the first ones to get married out there is pretty cool, for sure.
Hey-o. The tower holds a special place in Ben's heart. 1 year ago to the day of the wedding, he sat on the helipad and prayed that his soulmate be placed in his life. 4 days later, he got a notification on his phone alerting him it was Audrey's birthday. He hadn't spoken to her in years, but wished her happy birthday, and the rest is history. So when Audrey suggested the wedding there, he was instantly sold on the idea. And at 7:20 p.m. on Saturday, she walked out onto the helipad for the most special day.
I know my heart skipped a few beats. And she was absolutely the most beautifully stunning woman I'd ever laid my eyes on.
Photographer Jeff Wenzel with Above Topsail Portrait Studio was charged with capturing the magic.
To be able to capture it, but more importantly for those images to be seen by them, by their children, by their relatives, their friends. It's so important to me to not only capture the story, but for them to be able to display it and see it.
Wenzel is working on the final product, but it's without a doubt going to be a beautiful story told.
It's such an honor to be able to be part of capturing that.
This is exactly what we wanted. This is the perfect way to start things off and for us to, to start our future together. And that this isn't the last time that we'll be back on the tower for sure.
A major development in the case of 22-year-old Gabby Petito, who has been missing for weeks. Human remains believed to be her were discovered in northern Wyoming. TNN's Layla Santiago filed this report.
FBI investigators announcing a body was discovered in the Grand Teton National Forest, saying it could be missing 22-year-old Gabby Petito.
Human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery.
Petito disappearing on a cross-country drive with her fiancé Brian Laundrie last month. The couple documenting their journey on social media.
And good morning. It is really nice and sunny today.
Posting photos and videos of their trip starting in July with plans to end in Oregon in October. But Petito's family says they lost contact with her at the end of August.
I don't know, we just been fighting all morning.
About 2 weeks after police in Moab, Utah responded to a report of disorderly conduct between the couple. After the incident, police filing a report saying Petito and Laundrie engaged in some sort of altercation. No charges were filed. Laundrie returning to Florida without her on September 1st. 10 days later, Petito was reported missing.
My gut tells me that something bad happened. And I'm never going to be able to hold my baby girl again.
Now, the search is on for Laundrie, who has disappeared. Federal and local authorities launching a massive effort looking for the 23-year-old at this nature reserve. Laundrie's parents saying Friday they last saw him on Tuesday.
His family says that this is a place that he frequents. They also believe that this is where he came.
Petito's family sharing their grief overnight. Her father tweeting this photo of his daughter, writing, "She touched the world." Meantime, the FBI is still looking for any leads about Petito's disappearance.
This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask everyone maintain distance from law enforcement personnel and equipment, vehicles, and related activity for their own safety, as well as to protect the integrity of our work and respect privacy for Gabby's family.
A Navy veteran recently became a star on TikTok, all because he's still serving even at nearly 80 years old. He's not serving in the military, but serving others out of a sense of compassion. His good deeds have come back to him in a big way.
If you're wondering how a 79-year-old Navy vet on a scooter became TikTok's hottest new account, consider it a sign.
I'm a co-founder for a channel called Did You Know That? And we make educational videos for the deaf community that are fun and engaging.
Amanda Klein's neighbor Kenny Jerry isn't deaf and didn't know much about TikTok, but is fun and engaging.
He started learning some sign language, you know, like yes and
yes and coffee, you know.
What other ones do you know? You know,
oh, yeah.
Famous.
Yes.
His famous turn began just a week after his TikTok debut, when his beloved scooter broke down.
Sad about the scooter.
Until 650,000 followers showed up.
I just posted it, really honestly thinking, if we got lucky, maybe he'd get like $100 off a scooter or something.
Within hours, the TikTok community raised $5,000.
No, you're kidding.
And it has just taken off. People love Kenny. I mean, why not? I do too.
And the love has just kept coming.
They've given you $45,000.
What?
Kenny's GoFundMe has now surpassed $90,000. And counting.
I didn't think I'd get $1,000. You know? And look what happened. Famous, you know. I'm so honored, you know. And my angels took care of me. They did. And now I got angels here. Good angels that take care of me.
Braves football has its first regular season home game since before the pandemic, and they do not disappoint.
And a Braves cross-country star captures his first individual title of the season.
Andrew Thrift tells us about it, and we'll find out how the volleyball team is doing right after these messages.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Welcome back. I'm Andrew Thrift. Let me tell you about Braves football, who put up with a downpour in the first half of their home opener Saturday night. It looked scary for the Braves early in the first quarter when the Pioneers scored 2 touchdowns and extra points. But the Braves would go on to score 27 unanswered points, including 3 touchdowns. They also had 5 field goals on the night. After the game, head coach Shane Richardson said special teams made a difference in the 36-22 win.
On defense, we say if we can hold offenses to field goals, we give ourselves a chance to win. If I'm flipping to the other side, I felt like, man, Glenville's doing that to us. I'd rather have had touchdowns there and not have to settle with so many field goals. But, Gerardo came in and really did a good job for us there. Operationally, we got to clean up some things. But, it was wet out there, and it was tough to operate in. And so for his consistency to pop in like that, that really helped us out. So,
kicker Gerardo Guerra Rivera was named MEC Team's Player of the Week for his efforts Saturday. He tied a team record for his field goals in a single game, despite the rainy and windy conditions in the first half. He said he was glad to live up to expectations.
We had a meeting with Coach Rich this week, and he talked about, he was going to trust us and he was going to put us on the field. And, he expects a lot from us, and a lot is expected of our unit. And, we have to come through and deliver on everything that is expected of us. And I'm glad he gave us the opportunities he gave us tonight.
The Braves are now 2-0 in the Mountain East Conference and perfect against Glenville State, who they played 3 times before joining the conference. Saturday, the Braves welcome Fairmont State University at home. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. In local high school football, the Bucks hosted the Scots in a rivalry game between neighboring counties. First score of the game came from Scotland quarterback Carter Revell late in the first quarter on a fade to receiver Azim Graham that got the entire visiting side fired up early on. The Scots would continue to wrangle the Bucks defense with a huge run by Scots tailback R.J. Nicholson, who sliced and diced his way to the end zone to put the Fighting Scots up 14-0. The night got longer for Hoke, and the score continued to be music to the ears of the Scots fans. Running back Patrick Primus would run to the outside and score on a 27-yard run to extend the lead for the Scots 21-0. Hoke County knew they weren't out of it yet, however, and started to attack through the air. Bucks quarterback Warren Avery delivers an absolute beauty to receiver Camonte Williams for a 42-yard touchdown and provides a little life to his squad. But Scotland couldn't end the half without scoring once more as tailback Jatavius McCain goes untouched for his first of 2 eventual touchdowns for the night. Hoke County was held scoreless in the second half, and Scotland would go on victory, winning 52-6. In soccer, the Braves faced off against Lees McRae's Bobcats Saturday. The Braves matched their season high with 12 shots on goal and left the Bobcats struggling to get 5 shots on goal. Riley Searing and Zion Sellers' first half goals provided enough motivation for the Braves to lead them to a 3-1 victory over Lees McRae. The team is away tonight at Barton College and home again this Saturday in a conference match against North Greenville. Volleyball went to Fayetteville Friday to cool off the FSU Broncos, pushing the Braves' win streak to 3 matches with their 3-1 win. This win streak gave the Braves their first 3-match win streak since 2014. It also marks the second win streak of 3 or more matches in the last 6 seasons. This pushed the Fayetteville Broncos to fall 5-35 all-time in the series against Pembroke. The Braves' next home game is Friday night against Chowan. In cross-country news, junior Joshua Chepkisser took first place in 8-kilometer race Saturday at USC Upstate. He has been named Conference Carolina's Runner of the Week for the second time this semester. He came in nearly 7 seconds ahead of his closest competitor from Mount Olive. The men's team came in 7th out of 26 schools at the tournament, known as the Converse Kickoff Regional Preview. On the women's side, Ermin Japletting made her first appearance of the season, coming in 7th in the 6K. The women's team finished 5th out of 23 schools. That's it for sports.
And that closes out our show. We hope you'll join us next week for more from campus of UNCP in the region. I'm Jayla Coley.
And I'm Andrew Thrift. We'll be back next week with Mihaela Trace. See you then.